Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Tennille Talks Pain. In today's episode, I wanted to go into some more depth into the research I've come across and been studying for a long time now. One day, many years ago, when I felt like I'd sort of come to the end of the road in terms of mainstream medicine, and I felt pretty hopeless about my outlook, a friend asked me, have you done much of your own research? And I said, I haven't really done that much. I'd been pretty reliant on the health professionals to give me my answers. And so I decided to hit the internet and start looking. I came across a doctor called Dr Howard Schubiner, who had been studying and helping people with pain and various symptoms and medical conditions for a long time. The way he talked about pain and looked at pain was quite different to what any of the other health professionals had been telling me, but it really seemed to resonate with me. Dr Howard Schubiner had also been through pain himself and been able to get better over time, and so I felt like he had great insight and understanding into the topic. I decided to do his online course, and I also ordered his book, which was designed around the online course. It was a 28-day program called Unlearn Your Pain. Pain is a learnt response, kind of like riding a bicycle. The brain learns pain over time, and those pathways get ingrained, and it can become hard to unlearn those pathways. Dr. Howard Schubiner is a strong advocate for the mind-body connection, and he shares many examples and stories and studies in his program, some of which I've already shared with you in previous episodes. In his program, it was like I saw myself on every page, and what he was saying seemed to make more sense to me than what any of the other health professionals had been telling me. I want to share some key information from his program, and it will be interesting to see if any of the information resonates with you. Dr. Howard Schubiner puts people who have pain and various symptoms and other medical conditions into the category of mind-body syndrome, or MBS. In his program, he talks about how certain personality traits are linked to people that have pain and various symptoms and medical conditions. I want to share with you a list of these personality traits, and it'll be interesting to see if any of them resonate with you. I know I ticked yes to all of these traits. So these are the traits. Having low self-esteem, being perfectionistic, having high expectations on yourself, wanting to be good or be liked, frequently feeling guilt, feeling dependent on others, being conscientious, being hard on yourself, being overly responsible, having difficulty making decisions, following rules strictly, having difficulty letting go, feeling cautious, shy or reserved, tending to hold thoughts and feelings in, tending to harbour rage or resentment, not standing up for yourself and expressing your true feelings. It took me a while to realise that I could identify with all of these traits, and only recently have I reflected and realised what tremendous pressure and stress these traits build upon the body and place on the body. It's sort of like, no wonder I have pain. I'm the perfect candidate, so to speak. And often really nice people tend to get pain or other symptoms or medical conditions. And often we're great for society, we're just not great on ourselves, and that comes out physically. Now, I'm from a family that can be quite skeptical. Well, my brother and my father can be quite skeptical. And they'd probably be saying to me, oh yeah, it sounds good, but it sounds like personal opinion and it doesn't sound very scientific. And to that I would say, well, go read the program or the book. It's full of scientific literature and studies. Also, I love science. I'm a science teacher and I don't mind going into the science behind it. So what is the neurological mechanism for mind-body syndrome? The pathways that produce and perpetuate mind-body syndrome can begin due to injury or a stressful event that triggers strong emotions in the amygdala, which is a section of the brain. These signals get amplified by conscious and subconscious emotions, which trigger the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, also referred to as the ANS, triggers the fight or flight or freeze response, which triggers nerve activation, muscle tension, gastrointestinal spasm, and cardiovascular activation, which can worsen symptoms over time. These pathways get reinforced over time, and this can create a vicious cycle. So you can see that emotions in the brain can create so many physical effects on the body. It has its hands in so many different systems of the body: nerves, muscles, heart, blood flow. It can do pretty much whatever it wants to do to the body. which is why there's such a range of physical symptoms people can be getting from their brain and their emotions. For example, lack of blood flow is considered to be one of the main theories behind widespread muscle aches and pain, as seen in patients with fibromyalgia, such as myself. Irritable bowel syndrome seems to make sense when it's evident that the digestive system can be affected by the brain and stress and emotions. Fainting is considered to be a freeze response when the body literally can't stand where it is at that point in time. There are so many symptoms that are commonly caused by mind-body syndrome, and I want to share with you a list of some of these. So this is not the whole list, it's just some of the symptoms. So we've got tension headaches, migraine headaches, back pain, neck pain, whiplash, fibromyalgia, TMJ syndrome, chronic abdominal and pelvic pain, chronic tendinitis, sciatic pain syndrome, repetitive stress injury, foot pain syndromes, myofascial pain syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, tachycardia, chronic regional pain syndrome, insomnia, chronic fatigue, numbness, tingling, burning, tinnitus, dizziness, chronic hives, eczema, hay fever, acne, frequent urination, anxiety, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, multiple chemical sensitivities. You may have one or more of these symptoms, and it's likely if you go to a doctor, you won't have the time to discuss your emotional well-being, which is an integral part of health. It's likely that you'll just be given something to help treat the symptoms rather than getting to the root cause. So there's lots of information on this topic I want to continue to share with you in future episodes. Thank you so much for listening to this one. Today I wanted to talk about Dr. Howard Schubiner and some of the research he's done and look into some of the personality traits that are linked to pain and other various symptoms. I also wanted to go into some of the science behind mind-body syndrome and look at how emotions affect the brain and physical responses in our bodies. Thank you so much for listening today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Feel free to share or like this or refer it to a friend if you think it could be beneficial. I'll catch you guys again soon. Thanks, see ya.